good. I think good. I feel good. I feel good. I live good. I live good. I live good. My mind is powerful. My mind is powerful. My mind is powerful. I feel so good. My mind is powerful. Yo, Joe Ingram. How you doing, my
Robbie
man?
Cornelius.
How's life in your world, sir?
On my side, it's wonderful.
That's powerful. I want to always put the guest on the left side so that I make you the main guy
Okay.
here. So
I didn't even get motion sickness. That was great.
there you go. You know, that's the power of digital residual. So you
True
are
that.
you are the when I think of sales genius, I'm thinking of Joe Ingram.
That means my
And
branding's working.
yes, absolutely. Honestly, when I think of sales, I think of Joe Ingram. When I think of genius, I think of Albert Einstein and Joe Ingram. So
I like
it's
that. I like that.
it,
I was
it,
thinking about trying to get my hair going out the way Albert does it, but
I looked at Albert last night. I'm standing in my doorway. I'm looking at the picture of Albert Einstein, and I made eye contact with him, and I felt like I was getting a telepathic message from him. But I don't know if you remember or not, but like one of Albert's last, he was working on an equation that he didn't get to finish before he passed away. And so that has always kind of like stuck with me. Like, okay, whatever you need to do, whatever you're trying to get done, do it now. Like, do it now. You don't know.
it's true.
When it comes to your journey and like every time I see you, you're shaking and baking. Even in the mastermind meetings, you're shaking and baking. What is the motivation behind your drive?
So I believe, and this is internal to me, I learned it a long time ago, that I'm willing to be, really ambitious temporarily so that I can be lazy first class later.
Ooh.
So I don't want to be the person who retires and ends up back at Walmart saying hi to people when they come in. I
Mm.
want to do it right, and I want to make sure that it's going to be something fantastic, and I can enjoy it as I go through. And the earlier I get there, the better. So again, what does everybody say on their deathbed? I wish I had more money, or they say I wish I had more time. I
Mm.
wish I'd used my time better. And so
Mm.
that's what I look at and go, I just want to make sure that I use my time to the fullest so that I can reap the benefits later. Because if you're just working to stay working, it's not going to work.
Mm. So what are you do you have any type of time management techniques or hacks that you use that keeps you on track?
So I literally run everything off of my Outlook calendar.
Okay.
Okay. So, of course, on my phone, right, I've got my Outlook calendar. It's the only notification I have on
Okay.
is that one. So, like
Wow.
if you text me, I'll get the notification because text is immediate response,
Yep.
right? But no social media buzzes me.
I
So that
love that.
I don't get that. I have to go look for social media notifications instead of me saying, "Oh, you know what I need to do? Let me go bing bing bing," and I have to pay attention to every one of them.
Yep.
So I will not be distracted that way. Now, will it eat in my mind for a while and go, "Whoa, what's going on there?" Yeah, it could, right? And every once in a while it may, but that's going to be because I'm sitting back saying, "No, I want to go look at it." So it's on
that
my terms.
that's a big one, like social media. Like in one regard, it's like the best thing ever for people that are trying to get their products and services out there and their message out there. But it can also be a time suck, man. It could be a freaking time suck if you're not
Oh
careful.
yeah.
For
Yeah,
me,
I
it's
agree.
TikTok.
Yeah, for you, TikTok, me is Instagram. So whenever my phone pops up and says, "Here's your weekly report," that's where I get hit is on Instagram. And so, but
Whoa.
that's where I look for. That's what to me I look at it and go, "Let's flip through, let's get some mental stimulation going, and then I'll jump back off." But I like looking for the next idea. I like looking for who put a video out that looks good. the ones you just put out on TikTok, right? You and I met on TikTok. So
Yep.
when you look at that, I look at and you put all these new ones where you're like right up there talking
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
camera. Right? And then Nick, who's part of our mastermind, he had shared it. And I was like, ooh, I got to jump back on to TikTok and go through it and start
Wow.
clicking down. But I will tell you that on my calendar, so I have my Apple calendar that's here and my Outlook calendar is here, plus my Google calendar is here. So all of it here. But in my Apple calendar, I have the words breathe 748. Okay. So that pops
Breathe 748.
breathe 748. So when I look at that, okay, it pops up. And what I did was I put it in and told it to randomize. I was like, put it here, put it here, put it here. So all throughout the day, it'll pop up on my phone and buzz and it'll say breathe 748. So that means inhale for 7, hold for 4, exhale for 8.
Oh.
Okay. And if you do
Inhale
that
for
5
7,
times
hold for 4,
and
exhale for
exhale
8.
on 8. Exhale on 8.
Wow.
So if you do that
748.
5 times, it's the same as drinking a cup of coffee.
Really?
Yeah. And so one of the things that like the Eastern people always laugh at the Western people and go, yeah, you guys are all shallow breathers, right?
We
The
are shallow
Hawaiians,
breathers.
yeah, the Hawaiians call the United States people shallow breathers. Okay. Because why? We don't take in enough to energize ourselves and energize ourselves, period. So that's to me, I go, okay, so that'll pop up and I go, got it. And so I use my calendar to trigger me on certain things that have to be done. So once a month, right now, you and I can dip into the woo woo all we want, right? I like to make the woo woo more scientific.
I like
But when I look
to
at
make
it,
the woo-woo science too.
yes, I'm like, it's so much easier for people to internalize than you go, just, this is going to be great. No, it's not. It's create intention, put it out there, make sure it's known so it can get there. But once a month, and I purposely tell my unconscious not to remember the date. Once a month, an alert will go off on my calendar that buzzes and says, cut the cord.
What does that mean?
So cutting the
Disconnect from the
cord,
world?
no, it means energetically we're all connected. Once you
Okay.
establish a connection with something, right? Have you ever woke up tired?
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, oh, I'm already beat.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because people are feeding off of you energetically. We're all connected. So if you picture right now, we're on the same screen, but our buddy Ken Walls is out there. Mo Rock is out there, right? I got looking at it. Tom Bosick is out there.
What's up, everybody?
But when you look at that, what happens is we get connected to them. So energetically, we're connected. So for example, this is my thing. Is there one person out there today that if your phone rang and they popped up on just their name popped up on the screen, sucks every ounce of energy out of you?
Not now.
No, because you know how to cut it. But we just call it different. So to me, if there's somebody like that, then I go, you know what? I need to make sure that I energetically cut the cord with that individual so I'm not the energy they're living off of. And so it's a visualization exercise that I do. And now, because when it pops up, Miss Farha, hello. When you look at this, the energy that goes out, I do the exercise. And now that my unconscious knows what we do when it pops up, what happens? My unconscious does it for me. But I can immediately pop up and instantly get an energetic boost.
Yes.
And so I do the visualization exercise. It works for me and off I go. And then all of a sudden my energy comes back. And you know what's funny is that if you think about that person who just sucks the life out of you, okay, so that individual that sucks the life out of you, if you were to energetically cut the cord, they will reach out to you in the matter of half a day to go, you okay, Robbie? You all right? Because I don't know, it just feels off. And I want to check in on you. And it's not that it's off, it's that I'm no longer draining your energy, right? From mind to mind. Okay.
That
so
reminds me of
go
ahead, brother. I want you to.
No. So to me, every time I teach a class, right? Whenever I'm teaching a sales class and I got a group of people in there learning stuff, right? I take my phone and I go click, right? And I'll take a picture of all of them while they're there. I'll go, look at me, boom. And then they look at me. Yes, Ken Wells is. That's he's playing that role in my life. He's the life
That's
sucking enemy.
hilarious.
So what I do, right? So what I'm doing with this situation is that I will cut off that person. So as I cut off that person, they reach back out to connect again. Okay. And so they will continue to do that because it felt off. So when I do that class, I will do the class. And then after the class, I will energetically cut with every student. So I have rooms of 30, 50, 60 people that I have to now be able to visualize those people to cut the cord with those individuals. And it's like literally I cut the cord, right?
Wow.
Based on the exercise I learned. And so that will take it. So on our mastermind group, I will cut the cord. And it's the same thing. My little brother went through one of my classes where we teach this, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So he came back, did it again. The second time he said, I'm going to help out now, just because I so many people are like, Joe, this is amazing. All right. And this is outside of sales. This is life, right? That I'm teaching on. And so he came back, said, I'll help. Then he went through the exercises again while he was in the back to help. And he was like, boom, it just woke up everything in him. But his answer to me was, it's easier to explain that when Robbie, you and I talk on the phone, when we're done, what do? We hang up.
We disconnect. Yeah.
We hang up.
That's
so why
right.
do you want to stay? Why do you want to stay on the line with all of these people?
Wow.
Right? How much data and bandwidth do you have?
Wow.
It's limited. So you want to hang up the phone, hang up with that person. So good or bad, it doesn't matter. Like I will disconnect from my own kids.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We will reconnect because I know that.
Yes.
And they don't drain me.
That's right.
There are people that drain me, right?
That
Have you ever heard?
Really have to disconnect from.
Are you actually a introvert or an extrovert?
I think I'm both.
Yeah. And you can be both because it depends how you're defining it. Okay. I don't define it as my personality, which is what most people do.
You define it as a tool.
I define it as how do you recharge? Okay. So do you recharge by yourself? And Robbie, yes, you do. Right.
Yes.
So you recharge by yourself. So do I.
Yes.
So when I recharge by myself, it means that means I give off energy.
Yes.
Okay. Where extroverts need to be in groups because they suck in the energy from the groups. Those are people that get really excited to go to a party and go to do things where I'm like, can you lock me in my room, turn off the lights, right? Close the curtains. I have blackout curtains in my house. Now, here's the thing. I married an extrovert. My bride is an extrovert. I'm an introvert. So right away, her answer would be at the end of the day, she'll say, hey, on your way back from training, do you want to meet me at the mall? And why? Because when she gets to the mall, she gets energized from all the people there. And I'm like, do you know how many energy vampires are there?
At the mall, yeah.
At the mall.
Just making eye contact with some of those individuals can be draining. Yeah, 100%.
And so to me, I give off energy to people. So the number one trick I learned, so if you realize that you recharge by yourself, okay, the best thing I ever found for recharging by myself is sensory deprivation tanks.
Oh, I have not tried one of those, but my wife has been telling me to do this.
Yep. And it's definitely, when you look at that, what happens is it takes away everything that you could possibly be distracted by. So I have never, in 5 years of doing it, ever gone longer than 45 minutes in the tank. And they always book you at an hour, hour and a half, right? That you can book for these times. But I am it's like I've been alone for 2 weeks in 45 minutes.
Really?
I come out, creativity's at a maximum high. If I was smart, right?
Are you floating? Are you floating in this tank?
You're floating in the tank. It's a completely sealed off tank. When you get in, it's body temperature water that's filled with magnesium. Magnesium helps you relax, gets absorbed into your skin, right? But because it's magnesium and the salt, you float. You're more buoyant.
Or
So
is it dark in there?
it's completely dark. You cannot see anything. So you
Do you
can't
get
see anything. You
claustrophobic?
can't hear anything. I'm not claustrophobic. So
I don't know if I am or not.
yeah. So
Well,
that you can
probably
crack
not
the
then.
door open if you want of the
Mm,
tank. But to me, sensory deprivation means take away your sight, sound, because the water will go away because it's body temperature. So as you lay still, it's like whoosh.
you become one with the water. You become one with everything.
It's not even there anymore. So it's literally like you're floating. So for any visualization where you're being Superman and flying around up there, it's really easy to get that visualization going and build it into it. So
Whoa.
that's what I do. Because why? You've got to have enough. Let's go to sales. You have to have enough energy to sell somebody.
You really do. And if you're giving it all away all the time and never disconnecting, now you
Yep,
don't have anything to give to people when you're trying to sell.
absolutely. You're giving it
Wow.
away to everybody who ain't buying from you, and you
Mhm.
don't have the ability to passionately or energetically get that person to believe.
So have you ever heard of the phrase people might forget what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them
Make
feel?
them feel. Yep,
And
yep.
so selling is the
Transferring
crystal
of emotion.
exactly. Just making people feel a certain thing.
Yeah,
And so you are the king of that in my opinion. You're a very comical salesman. You sell to me, you sell without selling. I think when I think of you, I think of someone that's selling their personality first and the object last.
yeah.
And so
Well, I'll
is
I'll
that
tell
how
you,
you
it's a belief.
okay.
So here's what happens. If you and I sit down and say, let me try to sell you, Robbie, right? In
Okay.
most situations, you set up a meeting, you set up a call, you set up a Zoom for what? For the salesperson to sell to you. So
Yep.
immediately you put up a block,
Yep.
right? Why do you put up a block? Because you're saying, I'm not going to get suckered into whatever they're selling.
That's right. They're trying to take from me.
Right. Exactly. And my answer is I'm not trying to take from you. I'm trying to find out. And my energy will give off that I'm not trying to say I need to sell you something. I'm trying to say, will my product or service benefit you? And are you somebody I would want in my phone that could call me? Because if you're just a jerk, I don't want to deal with you as a client. I don't care about the money anymore. Right.
That's right.
In the beginning of sales, you accept
Mhm.
every deal, and you learn to regret it later.
Yep.
Okay,
100%.
and you're like, I knew, and you always say that I knew this was wrong, but I did it anyway because you went for commission,
Yep.
and then you
100%.
realize it cost you way more.
Yep. You are 100% right. Robbie, who's the weirdo in the button down?
Button down. I assume that would be me.
Hey, I started looking behind me, Ken. I'm like,
Right. I was like, what is it? What is it? Yes. Yeah,
who
that's
was that
Amy Lee.
said that? Oh,
That's
that's
Amy
Amy
Lee.
Lee.
Amy Lee.
Oh.
She's in secretive, icon mode. So
Oh,
so
okay.
we
I
can
was like
ask who's the weirdo that didn't release their own name to make comments. So
so with you understanding that sales is an energy game and that it is very important for you to cut the cord, to disconnect from people. Have you ever had a situation where someone didn't understand why you were disconnecting? And if so, what did you do to enlighten them on why you were the way you are?
So when as far as disconnecting from another person, right?
Yeah.
Or explaining to them why I disconnected from them. Because
So
most
for
people don't know.
so for me, like I'm notorious for having my phone on silent the vast majority of the time.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
has caused me some relationships in the past, because I've, throughout the years, the people that I accumulated in the past um, are not the people that probably would have hung out with the person that I am today. And so the person that I am today is the total opposite of a people pleaser. The person who I was in the past was a people pleaser. So if you called, I felt like I had to answer the phone. So, for instance, it's caused me a lot of relationships over the years because I might not call back but I'm recharging. So with
Right.
you, have you ever had a situation to where you had to explain to somebody why you were doing what you were doing?
So most people don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's something that I do internally. So like I don't look at you and go, "Hey Robbie, ha ha, cut the cord." No,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things I do myself after everything is done. Now, if I'm
Gotcha.
teaching the class, so like my buddy Dr. Bill Janishak, he and I do a class that's called unpacking.
Mm.
So the unpacking is how do you unpack all the crap that you got given by your parents and everything else, all the bad situations you went through that you carry around like a knapsack behind you. You have this huge backpack you're dragging behind you. So we
Mm.
do a class. Cutting the cord is one piece of that class. And then we
Okay.
teach you how to release negative emotions. So all of this is done in the privacy of you by yourself. So nobody
Gotcha.
knows what's going on. So, but what
Gotcha.
happens is they just get a feeling that something's going on. So
Mm.
then they reach out to reconnect. So they call you again. Okay. So I had
Gotcha.
one student that went through the exercise. I said, pick somebody, go through. One student went through this and said, hey, okay, fine. This is great. And then we took a break and they walked back in the room. They said, do you realize the person that I cut the cord with called me when I was out on break? It was like
Mm.
5 minutes from that. And they called and said, I don't know what's going on. I just had a feeling I need to call you. And I was like, yeah, because that's a vampire sucking up that
Mm.
energy. They felt it go away. So then they went, hey, and again, this is all happening in your head. You're not
Yeah.
consciously going, oh my goodness, I need to take the energy from you, but it's a
Yes.
connection. Some people have really sweet taste and energy.
Yes. That I like the way you I like the way you describe that. They have really great taste and energy.
And
And you
so
have
people,
you have
whoop,
sweet
yeah,
energy.
right.
Exactly. So you're attract it's kind of like gnats on a Jolly Rancher. You know,
Yeah.
you ever left a Jolly Rancher outside
Oh
and you
yeah.
come back, there's gnats and ants all over it. It's
Oh
because
yeah.
it's sweet. And
It's a
I
truth.
love that. I love that you know that. And so cutting the energy doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could just be
No,
a recharging thing.
it is a self-preservation thing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so again, for me to have energy to come on here, okay, when we started talking, I drove for an hour by myself from my client to get to my office.
Wow.
Why? Because I'm by myself
Yeah.
and I can recharge and spool up in the car.
Yeah.
And I never knew growing up why I wanted to go on the late night drive and
Wow.
go drive for an hour or so. Because to
Wow.
me, it was like, great, I can go there. I can drive for an hour in the middle of the night. No one bugs me. There's no one around unless I got stupid and a cop pulled me over, right? And they'll suck the energy out of you. But when you look at that, it's like, well, what is it that you're doing? And so when I
Yeah.
go in to say, okay, so now it's time to sell, my mindset, like you said, it doesn't seem like I'm selling
You're
because
having a
remember,
conversation.
you got the wall up. Okay. So you have a wall up. I have to get past it. You know, the number one way to get past somebody's wall, the wall is what? Their ego.
Yep.
They're protecting their ego. They're going, I don't want to, get smacked by and have to feel bad about the purchase because you got one over on me. So
That's
their
right.
ego raises up. The easiest way, and nobody gets this. This is one of those things that I just learned over life from my parents,
Mm.
right? And go through. But as soon as I make you laugh, your ego disappears.
Yep. 100%.
You can't laugh at my joke, still hate me.
That's right.
You can't laugh at my joke and think you're better than me.
Mm.
Okay. You have to laugh. And when
So
you
what if
laugh at something,
so
ego
what if
falls.
you what if you suck at telling jokes? So how would you advise a person that's like, okay, I understand that laughter is a good way to build a connection, to transfer some really good energy, but what if I'm just a cornball and don't know how to tell good jokes, or what if
So
I'm not
so
funny?
again, if you pay attention, you know this, but to everybody who doesn't, I don't go drop jokes. Right?
Mm.
I don't go, "Hey, you know what? I think you should come into my sales training. Let me tell you why. Hold on." Guy walks into a bar. There's a parent on the no, that's not what I'm talking about, right? Right? And so it's not that. It's the fact that can you bring humor into the equation Can you
Yeah.
highlight something? So you can tell a story about a sales technique that went bad,
Yeah.
right? You can always, yeah, Tyler, don't tell the joke about the pizza.
He says,
So
never mind, it's too cheesy. That's
pizza,
hilarious.
pizza, yes.
That's a
So
certified dad joke right there.
right, and he is a dad, yes.
That's what
So
I love dad jokes.
but
If you
so
Google
you
king of
look
dad
at it,
jokes, you'll see me.
right? Your face next to it in the dictionary. Yes. So that's what I want you guys to understand is that I need you to make fun of a scenario. You know who you can always make fun of?
Who?
Yourself.
Yeah, you go. I love that.
I can always tell you a story about how I screwed something up,
Yeah,
right? I can
I
tell you
love that.
how I had a client that was looking at the same scenario you were and looking at all this stuff. And I'll tell you right now, I blew the presentation and it was
Mm,
my fault they didn't see the benefit of what's there. Let me tell you what I
mm.
said. And then I'll tell you what I said that blew the presentation. And they'll laugh and go, yeah, if you said that to me, you'd blow the conversation too. And I'm like, well, technically, I just did. And then they stop and
Ooh,
they laugh and they go, oh, you did. I said, I just said it third party, so it didn't hurt. But let's go back to this. And now I start talking to you about what we can do.
I love that. I love that. That's the way I sell. I call it, and this is a lack of better word, but I call it farting on the first date. And the reason why I call it that is because I want to go in with my authentic self because we live in a transparent world now. If I present myself as one thing on this sales call, and then you go to my TikTok page and you see me dropping the F bomb, then you're going to be like, who did I just talk to? This is not the same guy. And so I always go in, of course, not trying to drop the F bomb or stuff like that, but I just try to be myself. I talk as if I'm, just talking to a friend. And so when did you understand you had this ability to just naturally talk? Did you recognize it as an ability or was it just a part of your characteristic?
So I will tell you that growing up, right, my dad owned a gas station. He's owned gas
Okay.
stations for most of my life. So as a kid, right, I would have to go before school and come after school and pump gas in the little full service lane and do
Mm.
that, right? So I was greasy all the time. But when you looked at
Greasy
this,
Joe.
I was Greasy Joe. Yeah. And my dad's name's Joe. So he was Greasy Joe Sr. Yeah. And so when you looked at that, right, I would sit there in the mornings, I would go work at the gas station. And so my dad was always in the back because he had the mechanic shop in the back. This is before mini marts were all the rage to have at your gas
Yeah.
station. Okay. So it was actually a mechanic shop in the back. And so people would get off of the freeway a mile before the gas station because that's where
Mm.
the exit was. They would go down a side street, right, down a little boulevard for a mile to pull into the gas station. They'd
Mm.
pull up, they'd honk, and they'd yell out for my dad. And then my dad would walk out, and the guy would go, running late to work, Joe. What's the joke of the day? And then
Wow.
my dad would drop a joke. They would laugh, and they would go down another quarter mile, get on the freeway to continue their journey. So they
Mm.
took this little detour to make sure they got a joke every day.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so to me, I just stopped and said, wow. And you know what? You know what those people also did? They
What?
brought their car to my dad for an oil change.
Gotcha. Because of how he made them feel.
Right. So my thing is this when it comes to sales, right? And anybody who's been in my class is like, we know, Joe, you say this all the time. But I think there's 4 steps to a sale.
Okay.
You can have a whole bunch of steps, right? Like for my automotive clients, they tend to like 10 steps to a sale.
I need to
So
write this down.
yeah, so I wrote out the 10 steps for them.
Okay.
Okay. When you look at this and I tell you, hey, guess what? If you have a 12-step program for your sales, that's a recovery program. You need to cut off a step or two.
Mm.
Okay. And I would take it down to 4 steps.
Okay.
Okay. Like, listen, believe, and buy. It's
Okay.
funny. Tyler's comment says 35 steps is preferred at his store. I have clients like that it's a 16-page document for their sales process. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, whatever your sales process is, I can tear it up into those 4 categories. Okay. So like, listen, believe, and buy. So this is what I want you to understand. Every relationship you've ever had in your life has gone through this. Every time you have decided to buy something, you have gone through this.
You decided to like it.
So as I start talking, so there's people on here that are going, "Hey, it's Joe. I don't know. I haven't talked to Joe in years. I don't know if who is this Joe guy?" It's Robbie's audience that's now listening to Joe, right? When you look at that, you go, "What he's saying." I'm listening. As he starts talking, I go, "I kind of like this guy." Then I listen more intently because right
Mm,
before the like, you just hear me, but
mm,
I'll say something and your brain will go, "Whoa, truth bomb right
mm.
there." That makes
Listening
sense.
is active.
And then boom, it changes to active listening. And so
Mm,
then you go through and you go, I kind of like him, but I'll never get to active listening unless you like me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then it goes like, and then you listen to me. Then you toggle back and forth. You listen to me more, you investigate a little bit more, and then you like me even more. So then you go like, listen, and now you start to believe what I'm saying.
Because I start to trust you, right?
Yeah. But how do you get to trust? You got to have belief in what they're saying.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the buy portion is the trust part.
Okay.
Okay. Because at that point in time, now
Ah,
that I believe you, I can buy from you, which means you solidified everything I could say. And now I trust you enough that I will give you my money. I
wow,
will trust you enough to give you my friendship. Okay.
wow,
You and I did this.
wow.
I listened to you on TikTok.
Yep.
Flipping through, I heard you say something. I was like, that resonates with me. Let me go back. I like what he just said. Let me listen more intently. Listen to more videos. Listen to more videos. Sit there and go, ooh, I like this guy more. I listen to him. I can believe what he's saying is true.
Mm,
And now that I believe it, my answer was, oh, I believe. Boom, I reach out to you. Right? I start pinging
100%.
you till you go, hey, this Joe guy's on my live streams all the time.
Yeah.
Joe is reaching out to me. Joe offered me an opportunity. And then what you had to do was go back and look at who I was to say, do I like him enough to actually listen to what he just told me?
Yeah.
And then you had to investigate me. And then you
So
had to go, ooh, like, listen, believe, and buy.
so how do you know, and I'm asking this question as if I don't know. Um, how do you know what to say to get someone to like you?
So you and I are just ourselves
That's it.
because I only want the people that like me for me.
There you go. There you
Okay.
go.
Now I can adapt my presentation. This is where most people screw up. I adapt
Mhm.
my presentation of myself without compromising my integrity or authenticity to meet the person's personality or where they're at. I say in sales,
Ooh,
I say, listen, everybody, right? I need to be who you need me to be to buy from me.
mm,
Not, not am I the right salesperson for you? I'm like, what part of my personality do I need to bring out so that I can be the right person for you to give me your money?
I love it. I
And
love
if
it.
I
I
do
love
it
it.
with my intention of being, I'm the benefactor, that's called manipulation. If
Mm.
I do it for a mutual win-win, then what does it do? It's now called influence.
Why
And
has
how many
people
people want to have influence?
so why when I think of manipulation, I think of a dirty word. I think of it
Okay.
as a dirty word.
Right.
When I think of influence, I think of it as more of a positive word. Do
Oh, it's
do
absolutely true.
Okay, so do you see the difference in those words too, or they
Yeah,
both the
it's the
same?
same thing. To me,
Okay.
manipulation is bad. Manipulation is self-serving for the person doing the manipulating.
Mhm.
Influencing is for a win-win scenario because I don't
Mhm.
go for lose-win.
Yes.
I'm not losing so that you can win. That doesn't benefit because that's that same client I accepted in the beginning that ended up sucking the life out of me and everything else.
They want everything for nothing,
Right.
for a little bit of
Absolutely.
nothing, you know?
Yep. Yep. We had that
So
conversation the other night on the mastermind with Loa saying, I over deliver.
yeah,
Right. And we're like, well, if you over deliver all the time, that means you're just delivering because nobody
yeah.
knows what over deliver means.
They don't know what level you're willing to go to. They don't know what your baseline is.
Absolutely. And
I
so to
love
me,
that.
my answer is always the same. If you are going to over deliver to somebody, over deliver to the person that has paid you for your program or service and has implemented it and was communicative to you to make
Mm,
sure they implemented it properly,
mm,
because that person is involved. That
mm,
person is for lack of a better word, right? Is believing in you to get that information. So clients, like I have a guy that worked at one of the companies I went into. Okay. I went in, I taught for an hour and a half, took a break.
mm.
This guy comes up and stops at the break, comes over and goes, "Hey, I'm going to ask you a question." And I was like, "Sure." He goes, "If I follow your stuff, can I double my income next year?" And I said, "Yes."
Wow.
And he goes, "You don't know me." I said, "I don't, but I know my stuff. And I know you're not doing it because I haven't been here to train it." And he was like, he goes, "That's pretty confident." And I go, "You're pretty confident in your ability, right?" He goes, "Yes." And I said, "If you're confident in your ability and you take my techniques and my strategy, then I'm going to tell you right now, you'll double your income." And this was the end of November of 2019.
Mm,
Right. So I come back in to train. So I trained for 2 weeks, dumped into everybody, and I left. The owner of the company comes back and goes, "Hey, are you coming back? Let's go." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what is it?" He goes, it's now April. But in March, he reached out and said, "I need you to come in." And this guy's name is Angel. And Angel was the guy who said, "I'll do whatever you tell me to
is
do."
Angel an investor?
No, but I
Dang,
like where you went. Yeah. Angel did invest
that's a
in
dad joke.
himself. Yes. So what happened was they said, "You need to come in," because Angel fell off, man. As soon as you trained him, he skyrocketed. His career
Whoa,
is just on fire.
whoa.
Right. And I was like, "Okay." He goes, "You need to come in and talk to him. You need to come in and talk to him. Come in. Let's set up another training. We have new people here. Let's go." And I said, "I'm in." So I come down there to train. I
Mm,
walk in, okay, and the manager goes, he's sitting over there. I told him, "You're going to come in and talk to him first." I said, "Okay, great." I walked in. I said, "Angel, what's going on?" He gets up, comes over on the other side of the desk and hugs me. And
wow.
he said, "Bro, you have changed my life forever." And I was
Whoa,
like, "I like
whoa.
that, man." I said, "I love that." My question to you is this: why are you sucking right now? Why are you
Mm,
not leading the top of your sales team?
mm.
And he grins and he said, "Joe, I already doubled my income from last year."
He stopped. He put a cap on himself.
He put the cap on himself. So by March, he
Whoa,
had doubled what he had done the year before.
whoa.
And
So he hit
that's
that.
all he could see, bro. That's all he could see. And how many times do we have people who put a cap on for us?
Dang.
And so I turned around, I looked at him and I said, "I am so proud of you." And I hugged him, but I did the manly hug where, where we grab hands and then pull it in.
He
Right.
said I
And
did
I
the
was like,
manly hug.
yeah. And I was like, "Bro, that's so fantastic. Let me tell you something." He goes, "What?" I said, "Double it again."
Whoa.
And at that point, he all of a sudden went, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" Well, he only got 100% over that. So that means he tripled his income that year from the previous year. Okay.
Hey
And
Tyler, the only
when
time
I
I put a the Tyler, the only time I put a cap on myself is when I don't want to get sunburned.
True, true. I see that. Do you see
That's a
that?
dad joke
Tyler,
for
did you get
Tyler.
that? Yeah. But
I
understand
love
that
that,
would be a
man.
joke that gets people to laugh.
There you go. So I intentionally do dad jokes to make myself more
You
relatable.
you appear vulnerable.
Yes, exactly. There
And
you
that's what
go.
everybody's afraid to do in a sales negotiation.
But I love that because when you were first saying, okay, he was killing it, and then now he's sucking, I'm like, what happened? And then you just hit it. You like, man, he put a cap on himself. He already decided that he was where he needed to be. And so he didn't see
Well,
himself going further.
and then I take it one step further and say, I put the cap on him. I
Oh,
told him, "Yes, you can double your income." I could have came back and said,
mm,
"You could do more than double your income with my stuff." And then that would have freed him up and he wouldn't have lost a whole month.
Because you know what though, and I understand kind of at maybe a subconscious level why you said that. Because maybe if you would have said you could more than double it, it would have been a little bit harder for him to believe. But
Correct.
just saying double it, made him feel like, okay, I got it. I'm going to give this a try. One thing that stuck out to me about this guy that you said, Angel, you said that he says, Joe, if I try your stuff, if I try what you have to offer, he insinuated up front that he was willing to actually put in some
The
effort.
work.
And I
Yeah.
love that.
So I
Rather than
came up.
saying, "Hey, Joe, does your stuff work?" Yeah, if you
Yeah.
work it.
Right, exactly. And so like literally it was people made fun of him. So I gave him scripting. I gave him how do you overcome objections. We went through all
Mm,
of this stuff. And so I give it all printed out for him. He went and had them all put on a poster board
mm.
that was like 3 feet by 4 feet. The thing was huge. And we used to laugh at him because he would pick up the phone and he had this giant board, sorry, where am I sitting in front of him with all of the scripts on it.
Wow.
They were all sitting in front of him, and he would talk on the phone like this so he could look and see the script where he was, because the company said you don't get to tack anything on the walls. And he's like, well, I need this stuff. And I teach people, don't put your script on your desk, because people will put their script on their desk and then put one of those clear mats over it. Well, what else do you put on the clear mat? All the rest of your junk. None of your stuff is
Mm,
visible to see.
wow.
And then they go, I'll
Wow.
put all the scripting and stuff in a 3-ring binder. I'm like, a 3-ring binder? So when the customer says, well, I don't think that's worth the value, and you go,
Exactly,
come on,
exactly.
right? Be a professional, learn the stuff.
Was
But
that was that
literally,
was that you that put up a picture on LinkedIn it was a picture of a phone and it says, "Pick me up, I make you money." Have
yes,
you seen that picture? That
yeah,
was you? Yeah, it
that
was
was
you. I
me.
saw that the other day. I love that. I love that picture.
So I
"Pick me
tell
up, I
people
make
all
you
the
money."
time. So I look just like Brad Pitt over the phone.
There you go.
Okay. But on video, it looks distorted, right? I'm not as pretty. But when you look at it over the phone, I can be whoever I need to be and bring out
Mm,
whatever part of my personality that I can be. So I will tell you, I do live sales calls when I'm at companies,
okay.
right? I'll go, give me the phone if you think this won't work. And they all look, because this is the problem most trainers have. They know how to talk, they don't know how to walk it.
Mm,
And so they come in and they preach at your people. I used to have a business partner that's what he used to do. He used to go in and tell you, I'm the trainer. I don't have to do your job. I just know what you're supposed to do because I've done it before. And they're like, here, help me on this one. And he's like, I don't do that. I don't. And I'm like, give it to me. Give it to me. I have zero fear. But the reason I have zero fear is because I have screwed up enough that
mm,
I know what'll work and what won't.
gotcha.
Okay. So I've sat with clients. Now, my wife always laughs at me, right? And it's deserved for her to do that. She will laugh at me because in the match and mirror game, right? There's a match and mirror game that you play with clients.
Mm,
So when you match and mirror the person, so if we're sitting together across the table, how am I sitting? When you move, how do I move? How do I get you to unconsciously build rapport with me? Well,
mm.
all of this stuff I can teach you. The issue is that you pick up the phone, you can't see me.
That's
And
right.
body language, right? Body language is 55% of our communication.
Mm.
So the second you
Nonverbal.
pick up a phone, what happened to you? You lost 55% of your ability to communicate. And because words are the least amount of communication when it's face to face, you use those same crappy words when you're over the phone or sending text and email. You don't
Mm.
you don't have the tone and inflection the right way
Okay.
because your words make up for it, or because your body makes up for it. So when you go pick up the phone, I teach you that tone and inflection is number one, but the words have tripled in importance.
Wow. Wow.
So again, are you using words that require your body language? That's going to hurt you over the phone. So
Mm.
to me, I have no issue with the fact
Give
I'll pick
give
up
me
the
some of
phone.
those words. Give me some of those words that you would stay away from and some words that you would use.
Anything descriptive to somebody. So, for example, if I looked at you and I said, Robbie, what's that thing over there behind you?
Mm.
Right?
You're
What
asking me
What are you
now?
going to do? If I asked you that, would you know what I'm talking about?
No.
No. And if I said, no, no, right over there, it's right over there by your, and I start pointing to it, like I always laugh and go, people go, what's that thingamajig over there? Well, I have to look to see what it is
Yeah.
that you just said.
Okay.
Okay. Or people that give directions. So I see people over the phone that sit down and go, okay, so when you get off the freeway, you're going to turn. Okay. You go down about a half a mile. And I stand behind them and I go, they don't know that you moved your hand to the left. Right? You now
You're
have to
right.
be way
You're
more
right.
descriptive than where you were before.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
so people don't understand that. So again, to me, my answer is let me pick up the phone. So matching and mirroring face to face means I copy your movements within 3 to 5 seconds. If I do it before 3 seconds, it's too obvious for the brain. It'll catch it. You do it after 5 seconds, it will catch it again and go, you're copying me. But if I do
Mm.
it between 3 to 5 seconds, and so I go, yeah. Okay. So if I wait and bring it up, then all of a sudden you go, oh, he's sitting
Wow.
like me. And unconsciously, I like people like me. So how
Mm.
good are
Mm.
you at building unconscious rapport with somebody? And that's going to come with your body movements, your tone and inflection, your wording, okay, and your
Would you
overall intent.
would you shave your head to get like me to get myself?
No, I wouldn't have to because that's authentically you, not me.
Mirror me, mirror my hair.
So again, so now if I said hair, I would have to
Mm-hmm.
say it that way. I would say, come on, man, I
Uh,
don't have to get rid of my
uh,
hair because that's how you said hair. So that's how
mm.
I do it. So this is where people mess up. Okay. So over the phone, I have to match your speed. How fast do you talk? And if I don't know my scripts and I don't know what my stuff is, and I get this. I'm in sales. I don't do scripts. Yeah, you do. You just say you memorize something. You got something that's busted and half-ass, and you keep saying it, hoping it's going to get better. I come in and go, these words work better. And you go, yeah, but I don't do scripts. And I'm like, well, what's your best price? You rattle off an answer. I'm like, well, where did that come from? That sounds like a script that you've just memorized. And then they go,
Mm.
and I said, so don't argue with me. Just take something that works better.
I
And
think what it
so,
is, Joe, is like when people look at scripts, they automatically think about reading it like, yes, sir, we can do this for you. But they don't understand that they have to say it in a voice that's authentic for them.
oh, yeah. So, like, look, I got tired of people telling me, hey, Joe, I couldn't find my script on the phone. So I made it a mouse pad.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
said, so shut up. It's on your desk.
You really are a sales genius.
I try, man. I wanted to. Well, what is genius? What did Einstein say? If you can't explain something to a child, then you don't know it well enough.
There you go.
So my answer is, how do I make things as easy as possible?
Easy
So
as
that's
one,
what I
two,
look
three.
at. So this right here, it says, thank you for calling blank. This is blank speaking, and
Mm.
I'm happy to help you. Okay. That's you reading a script. I pick up the phone, same words. Thank you for calling blank. This is blank speaking, and I'm happy to help you.
Oh my God, that was way better.
Exactly. But that just means I learned what it was there. It was
Yeah.
learned. So now I can master it with tone and inflection. Otherwise, I'm
Mm.
reading, and reading sucks. We've all had somebody read to us. Ever
Yes.
go through a bad timeshare thing when they call you? Well, you
I fall for
yourself like
those.
to vacation, don't you? What? So
I
that's what I do.
love it.
But again, why not have fun with what you're doing?
Somebody wants a link for that nap.
Tyler, I will send you the link for that. It's on my website. Yes. So, but that's what I want you guys. You guys, you have to sit back and say, here, this is what I'm trying to offer you. And am I offering
Mm.
something to help you or to help me? I want to help us
Whoa.
both. So
I
that's what I
love
look
that.
at.
I love that. So I want to help us both. I want to help you because helping you helps me.
Right. But I want it to be painless for me too, which means it has
Absolutely.
to be a good fit, right?
Yes.
What
Yes.
do we tell people to say when you say you don't want to waste somebody's time? We tell them, I don't want to waste your time or my
Or
time.
my time.
We
Yes.
always say add yourself back into the equation so that people know that it's your time is worth something too. Like I have
Exactly.
people all the time that they go, so what day works better for you to set up a meeting? And I'm like, so you just told them your schedule means nothing and you'll drop
Mm.
everything to do something for them. That's not the professional I want to
So
work with.
Joe, you are hitting it, the nail on the head right here. Because when I first started being a property manager, I would tell Southern Hospitality, right? I would tell people, "Hey man, if you need anything, hit me up anytime."
Oh yeah.
And when they would call me after hours, it would literally drive me crazy. And then
Right.
someone said, "Well, you told them that they can hit you up anytime." I said, "No, I
You
didn't
set the
mean like after
expectation.
hours."
You
Yeah,
set the expectation.
wow, I set it up like that.
Yes, Theodora, because we're talking money.
Joe,
We're
you're
gonna be
so
serious.
serious right now. There you go.
Yes.
So
So just
talking
picture, look, why so serious? See, Joe's the Joker, right? I've got it on here. Why so serious? Because sometimes you got to take down the bat. But
I
again,
lo
that's what again, Theodora, my hope is that everybody understands that there is technique, there is strategy, there is mindset. All has to go with sales. The reason Robbie and I click is because he's the mindset guy. And so with him being mindset and saying master yourself, then boom, I we connect on that level because I use my controlling personality to control myself instead of try to control other people.
mm,
So
I use my controlling personality to try to control myself instead of controlling other people.
yep.
That is the quote of the century right there.
So
So,
Tom, let me check my schedule to see if it aligns with yours.
yeah.
So what I would say is, so what works better for you later this afternoon or this evening?
So you are unconsciously letting them know that you have a certain amount of time open on your schedule as well without diminishing your schedule,
Correct.
while also making them feel like they have a choice.
Right. I would say, Robbie, when's the earliest you and I can get together? Are you available later this afternoon, this evening? Or right now I go later this evening or tomorrow morning? Okay. Don't ever ask somebody what they want. Have you ever done this where, and you, Robbie, you can answer. You asked somebody and said, so what day are you open next week?
Mhm.
And then they do this. Because
I'll
some
be
everybody keeps their schedule up in the sky for some reason, right? It's how your brain is remembering. You're looking up and you go, well, I can't do Wednesday because of bowling. I can't do Thursday because I have underwater basket weaving, right? And so they start filling. Why are they telling you? Because to me, I'm like, I didn't ask you when you weren't available, but they have to fill in this imaginary schedule
Mhm.
so then they can tell
Mhm.
you what's left open. But
Yep.
if I said to you and I said, okay, so later this afternoon,
Mhm.
right? Or tomorrow morning, which one works better for you? You have two things to look at.
Okay.
And if you know tomorrow morning you're booked because Tuesday morning you're always booked in the morning for blah, blah, blah. I have sales meetings. I have this. I have whatever is there. If that's your standard meetings, like for me, war games, Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Anybody says, Joe, can you
War
do Wednesday?
games.
Wednesday at 2 o'clock? My answer is no, I'm booked. Bye, Ken Walls. Ken
Oh,
Walls is
gotta
not
bounce.
booked.
Love you guys.
Yes.
Love
So
you, Ken.
love you,
Good night,
Ken.
Ken. Tuck yourself in the bed tonight.
Yes, he's bouncing. I don't think he's that large anymore. I think he lost weight. Shouldn't be bouncing to bed. So
I love this name right here. Let me go back here. Teodora.
yes,
I love
Tia,
that name.
Tia, Tia, Teodora. I sing it every time for her.
That is awesome. But
So
Joe, okay, Teodora says, but Joe, we're always open
right again because why? But who did she just give the power to the schedule to?
to the customer.
She just gave it to me. She just said, Joe, we're always open for you, right?
Yeah.
For you, we're always open. So I don't want that. I want to say what's mutually beneficial for us. So otherwise, because again, I would never say that her schedule doesn't matter. Drop everything and find out for me, right?
So
That's why we have replays on videos. Yeah.
So think about this. Even it happened today with you and I had to reschedule, and I said, "Hey, do you have something open for tonight?"
Yes.
I didn't say when is your next opening?
Correct.
That's out there in the ether somewhere. I'm like, "Hey, can we reschedule for tonight?"
I said yes, and then you bounced back with 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. work for you. And I
There
was
you
like,
go.
that will work.
There you
Okay.
go.
Because you gave me the easiest of choices. So, hi, Missy.
Hey,
So, that's
Missy.
what you look at.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
You
love
want to
that.
make sure that you build value in your own schedule.
Yes.
And so, like for me, here's another sales genius thing, right? So, I tell everybody what you got to do is you got to set your appointments on the 45s or the 15s. Okay.
45
So
minutes or 15 minutes?
at 45 of every hour or 15 of every hour. So
Okay.
this is what happens. You set it at zeros and 30s,
Okay.
right? Currently we go 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Yep.
Okay. So what do most people in the world today have? A job.
Yeah.
The job starts at zeros and 30s.
Mhm.
Okay. So if it's 3, 4 minutes past, what are they? Late.
Late.
There's
Yeah.
pain associated there.
Oh,
You want
man,
more
that's
people to show
psychology.
up? You want more people to show up to your appointments? You set them on the 45s and the 15s. So here's the numbers, okay? Because again, you remember it's me. I got all the stats to back me up. So looking at this, I'm going to tell you that on the zeros and 30s, if you set the appointments on zeros and 30s, you're going to get a 45% show rate. Okay.
Mm.
Yes. Nice. Look at that, Tyler. Yes. That's what I tell my secretary to do when filling my schedule. Exactly. But you have to know it to tell them what to do. But that's going to make sure, Tom, that your schedule doesn't get booked with BS appointments. So 45, you set 10, you get 4 people and a midget, right? That show up to appointments.
I'm offended because I'm short, as we
Yeah, you
established
are,
in
as we
the
learned the other night.
as we
Yes.
learned.
Yes. So if you look at that, if all you did was switch to 45s and 15s, you now have a 55% show percentage just by picking
Mm.
those different times. So
Wow.
I'll go deeper. The brain gives the person who picks on a 45 or a 15, their brain gives them the second half or the first half of the clock to show up. So if you pick the zeros and 30s, that's a definite time to them. But when I go 10:15, then they'll show up at 10:05 and they'll think it's okay. They won't show up to a 10 o'clock appointment at 10:10 because they're late. They will show up to a 10:15 appointment at 10:20 because they're like, it's only 5 minutes, big deal. There's never been a pain associated to 45 and 15.
Wow.
So I want people to show up more. I will tell you, do your confirmations 2 hours prior to your appointment.
I love that.
So you do that. And I will tell you this right here, Robbie, one of my biggest things. This is a 7% increase in show percentage. So if I
Okay.
did 45 and 15, I'm already at 55%, right? I'm going to
Okay.
add 7 more and get you to 62. Because what I'm going to say is, okay, Robbie, if for any reason you're running late or you need to reschedule, could you please give me a call? Okay. The second you say yes to me, that means your brain tells you if you're running late, you got to tell Joe.
Gotta tell
Okay.
Joe.
Psychologically, there was a study done where people came out and said, hi, we noticed there's a lot of drug related incidents that are happening in the neighborhoods around us. We want to bring awareness to children to say to stay off drugs. Would it be
Mm.
okay if we just put this little 2x2 sign in your yard that says, say no to drugs? Would you be okay with that? And all the neighbors that said, yes, I would be okay, I would be okay. Some said no, but some said, yes, we can do that. Right? I'll do it. I'll do it. Then they showed up with signs that were like 4x6, right? 3x3, right?
Mm.
They put in these big, big signs in their yard and put them in there. And everyone allowed it because they had already agreed to let you put a sign in there.
Wow.
Okay. Do you know that if you're in the supermarket and you don't want to wait in line, you can walk up? It's over 80% of the people will let you to cut in front of them as long as you have an excuse.
Mm.
You can walk up to the line literally, and I did this because I was like, I don't believe you. I'm going to try it. So I went and did this. I walked up and I said, excuse me, do you mind if I jump in front of you? I hate standing in line. And the person was
Wow.
like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Wow.
And lets you cut because you have a reason. Because you have a reason.
Somebody says, "What's up, fellas? It's Jamie Green."
The
Just in
Solar
case.
Queen.
Yes. Hello, Jamie, the Solar Queen. She's crushing it right now.
Oh, she is. She's killing it right now in solar. But again, that's what I look at. So if you do that 7% increase, I'm at 62%. You're going to pick up another 8% if you do your confirmations 2 hours prior.
Wow. Wow.
Call
Wow.
or
Wow.
text, doesn't matter. Hey, just reminding you, but you got to get a confirmation back where they go,
What
yes, we're still on.
What do you think about sending people your link to your calendar? I had somebody on TikTok a few days ago said that it was that baby boomers don't like that. What do you think about that?
I think, again, what do I want to do? I want to make something simple and easy for everybody.
Okay.
Okay. I don't care if a baby boomer doesn't like it. The answer was we need to set up our schedule. So if I can send you a link, you click on and pick whatever time matches for both of us, then I don't know how that's disrespectful in any way.
That's what I said. They were like, "Don't send," this expert sales guy. He was like, "Don't send your freaking Calendly link. It's tacky." And I'm like, well, "That's convenience."
Well, but understand too, does that sales trainer guru want to learn something new, or does he want to stick with what he knows already?
Somebody said, "Wait, are you a baby boomer, Joe?"
Joe is not a baby boomer.
Hey, you know what? Here's a controversial one. You know why they call them baby boomers, right?
Because there was a huge boom in the population.
No, because they'll soon be in diapers.
No, they started and they end up in diapers. Yes.
Oh, that was another dad joke. Pushing the
No, but
envelope here.
I'm Generation X.
Gotcha. Believe it or not, I'm a millennial.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm one of the
You
earliest
just have work
millennials.
ethic. It's great. Yes.
Yeah. And
But again,
so
technology is second nature to you, right?
yes,
I'm the generation that had to figure out how to get the VCR to stop flashing 12 for my boomer parents.
gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
But I've always said, what can I do to make my life easier? And if I'm going to say I want to make my life easier, I have to embrace technology.
Yes.
So here's my question as well. Is the client or the prospect that doesn't want to use technology, if they don't want to use technology to book a time with you, that's not your client.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a
You're
tech
way
company.
too technology savvy and utilize it for them.
Yeah, 100%.
So they
What is an
self-identify
exennial?
themselves out.
What is an exennial? What does
Amy
that
Lee's
mean?
gonna have to say that. So that means they're on the border of being a millennial. So she's like a Gen Y. Remember, because we had Gen X and then there was Gen Y, and then they went, no, Gen Y is now lump of all together as millennial. And you were like, that's not what's supposed to be there.
I don't know what a zennial. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm just a human living,
And again,
So
it's how much do you invest in yourself to decide that you want to make as much money as possible. So
facts. And if you can't book a calendar, like that might be part of why we're talking. The fact that you don't know how to operate technology
right.
like that.
Yep.
Shaka, what's
Shaka
up, Shaka?
Dyson. Shaka
Shaka.
Dyson in the house. What's up, Shaka?
Shaka.
So,
Somebody says
but
know your
again, like
client.
I want everything to be as easy as possible. But I
100%.
truly don't have time to sit back and go back and forth with people on stuff. Right.
There's
I
too
have one
many
of my
there's too many prospects out here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
It's
okay, I
unlimited.
have an existing client that somebody sat down and said, like they threw it off to an assistant, like Tom does, because he's a baller, right? So they threw it off to the assistant. The assistant went and communicated with 4 different people to come up with the times they had, and then reached out to me as the trainer for the company and said, okay, Joe, here's the 3 times everybody's has. Does any of those work for you?
Mm.
And I was like, I can do that one. I
Mm.
said, I'll do that one. Let's do that. And so it was easier for me to go grab that and say, here, that would be so much easier to just drop into my calendar.
So I would like to shift to this question here.
Sure.
When you are reaching out to a company, do you have any specific techniques that will help someone get to the decision maker?
So, okay, I play games because remember, we're on the phone most of the time,
Okay.
right? The easiest way to get to a decision maker, for one, you can email them directly. If you go online and search for their email address, most people have it. LinkedIn is really great at showing you their email address. In a company person who's a decision maker, it's also a great thing for LinkedIn. So when I go on LinkedIn, I'll hit add the note when I want to pair it. When it says you can pair a note to the actual request to connect, I will put something in that proves I read their profile
Mm.
instead of like we laugh because it goes, here's the whole pitch with a Calendly link, right?
Yeah.
They're like, here's my tidy cowl. Go ahead and get, and you're like, stop it. I don't know who you are. You're a
Yeah.
picture on a screen that said hello. And the first, as soon as I hit it, it went bing because you attached a note that said, you want to sell me something and you don't
Exactly.
know who I am. And it's a template. One today came in and said, hi, Amit. And I'm like, well, evidently Amit was the last guy you did. You copied and pasted and forgot to put Joe in place of
Oh,
Amit's name.
snaps.
So, but again, how much are you going to actually do that? To me, I send over one thing, less than a sentence. Okay. Every communication you should have with the prospect, other than a price quote, should look like a text
A
message. Keep it
text
under
message,
150 characters.
100%. If I see a long letter before we've ever
It
this
means
is
we
how I
broke
look.
up.
I know. This is how I look at it. Like, imagine if someone walked up to you and just started telling you their whole life story before you had the chance to even introduce yourself. That's what
True.
those long emails are.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
long emails are
Rapport.
somebody that I have are for people that I have rapport with, not
Yes.
someone that I'm trying to get my products or services.
True. Did you see
It,
Dylan Gray's on?
Dylan Gray, where's Dylan Gray?
Dylan Gray just put up there, Big Joe. I love me some Dylan Gray, the country
Oh,
singer.
Dylan Gray. What up, Dylan
Yes.
Gray?
He's from TikTok, migrated over. Yes.
He's
So,
on Facebook now. That's powerful.
yeah.
Dylan
But
Gray.
so to me, right, the quicker and the easier you make it for someone to answer you back, the better chance you have,
Mhm. Powerful.
right? And I also tell you, be creative. I have some stupid email templates that I put into companies. I was at a
Mm.
client out in Vegas 2 weeks ago, and I walked in, and every time they get a reply back, they screenshot and send it to me, right?
Wow.
Because I have these crazy ones. I have a picture of a silhouette of a guy, right? It's all very dark behind him, and he's sitting like this, so you just see the shadow of him sitting there. And it says, and the subject line says, "I'm so lonely." And you open it up, and it says, "I feel like I'm in this purchase transaction by myself. Do
Wow.
you want me to stop reaching out to you?" Right? Because it feels really lonely on this side.
That's awesome.
And then what do we get? We get people that answer back, and I'll get some WTFs out of them, but I get laugh out loud, bro. That was hilarious. No, we already purchased with this other company, or no, we put it off for this. I just want an answer in my CRM. That's what I want, an answer that says, should I be continuing to follow up? Dub video, I do not use.
I don't eat. I use Loom.
Loom,
Loom.
and I know Loom from Robbie. So yes, so
Fruit of
but
the
Fruit of the
Loom.
Loom with the cornucopia or not? Depends. Which which
Depend.
which one of the universes did you come from? So
What did the baby boomers say when they asked him w- which did he prefer?
I don't know.
Depends.
Ah,
Depends.
you're all into the diaper jokes, man. You must be pissed. Oh,
Oh my god, that was a good one. You must be pissed.
yeah,
That's powerful, Joe. Powerful. So, with anyone that is considering getting into sales, to me, sales is everything.
absolutely.
Because there's no cap. You set your own cap. people get afraid because they can't it's not a guarantee a lot of times.
Right.
So would you try to convince that person to consider sales, or just say, hey, maybe it's not for you? The person that's like, hey man, what about my guarantee?
So I will tell you this: if you've ever had that job where you were making the same amount of money as the fool sitting next to you, and you
Hmm.
were busting their butt, and you realize that they're just getting by, but you're both making the same amount of money, then you then you
Ooh,
then you have to stop and realize you would much rather be paid what you're worth,
yes,
and that comes
yes,
from commission.
facts.
Right? So which one are you going to be scared of? Scared of the fact that you're outworking somebody next to you who's doing just enough to not get fired, or do you want to be scared that you're going to get paid off of what you're worth? The second I realize you can get paid off of what you're worth, right? I'm an electrical engineer by degree. It was all just about
Wow.
pay scales and stuff like that. And it was like, this is your pay scale based on your job. And if you stay here long enough, you get another raise and
Wow.
another raise. And then I realized that I'm getting paid more than the guy who's at the same level as me, who has a job that's less responsibility than me. Then that's there. Why are people afraid of sales, Theodora? People are afraid because it's dependent upon them, and they're afraid of rejection.
Ooh, yes,
And
sir.
they're so afraid that because you don't want my product, that you are now saying I'm not worthy.
Hmm.
I have plenty of people that still communicate with me that never bought from me.
That never bought. Same here. Same
And
here.
they're like, "Hey man, I have this and this, and I remember you said this and da 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 da." Right? But if you can educate someone to purchase, then you never have that issue. Okay, so Jamie is one of those people that look at all of her TikTok, looks at her videos. You look at all that, she's about educating the consumer.
That's what I was just gonna say. She's an educational seller.
Right. And again, what is that? I'm going to present you with all the options and you decide what works best with you.
I love
If
that.
you ask my opinion, I will damn sure give it to you. Okay? But you want to the topic was, how do you become a sales genius?
I
You
like the
invest in
one.
yourself. Read
I,
some books.
I like the one she did a few days ago. How do you know if what happens if you don't order enough solar panels?
Panels. Yep.
See,
Yeah,
Jamie, I
Jamie,
keep
we're
up.
stalking you. Yeah,
I
we do
keep up
stalk
with
you.
you. That's
Yeah, and
that's
then she put up the one. Look at the panel up here with the group of all the guys laughing, going, "Oh wow, wow," and whatever. Why? Because she's incorporating humor.
absolutely.
If every time you sit down and put out a video, it's a pitch, then no one's going to follow your videos.
So I look at the people that have joined the mastermind. None of those people were pitched, and I would often ask those people, "Man, how did you hear about it?" "Oh, I just liked your content, and I saw the link in the bio." And I'm
Yep,
like, "That's it. You're just putting out content value. I'm on there just talking, speaking my truth,
yep,
and people are finding out about it, and that's it. You're talking about what you're going to talk about." And Brad Lee is really good at that. Like he's just talking about what he's talking about.
yeah,
And it could be
absolutely,
he could be talking about relationships, has nothing to do with sales,
right.
but he's just recording himself talking and he puts it online. It goes viral, and more people know who he
Who he is?
is.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And
And
so that's
again,
how.
he's at a point where he can have a crew follow behind him all day, right?
Yes,
But guess what? We all have some little crew that
phones,
can go with us.
absolutely. So what's your favorite social media platform right now? If you had to pick one and eliminate the rest, which one would that be?
So for me, the my biggest reach or interaction is on
Well,
Facebook.
just your favorite though, like your favorite without considering the reach.
Without considering anything, my favorite is Instagram. It's
Okay.
6 hours of my day.
Really?
Not every day, but yeah. No. When I
You'd
look
be
at the
proud of me,
hours,
Joe.
it's like Joe, you spent way too many hours on Instagram.
Joe, I
But
just
I use it
reactivated
for
my
nurturing.
Instagram.
Yeah.
after a year. Just reactivated it today.
Did you? Yes.
Yeah.
But
The
again, I
reason
use Instagram to nurture relationships.
the reason why I'm gonna delete it again, but the
Yeah.
reason why I did it is because a new client that I just took on wanted to tag me in a Instagram video. So I was like, all right, I'll turn it
I'll turn
on
it on. You tag me. I'll wait a week and then turn it back off
and turn
again and
it
see
back
whatever
off.
happens. Yes.
Yeah. Cause it makes me look kind of weak a little bit because I have so many followers on TikTok, but like not nearly as many on Instagram. And I want to be, and also why I don't like Instagram, but
Right. Well,
um
I get shadow banned between Instagram and Facebook, and I think it'd be better if they just decided to do them both at one time. But I legit will get a couple hundred views on my story on Instagram and have like maybe double digits on Facebook. Then my
mm,
ban wears out on Facebook, and I've already said something to piss off Instagram. And so it goes back and forth that way. But
dang, Jamie says she has two
Amy,
IG reels go viral for her yesterday. 21,000 views and 11,000 views.
that's
That's
impressive.
phenomenal. Very, very. And somebody says, "Way to go, Jamie."
That's
Jamie, I gotta
in
have you on the
Toronto.
podcast, by the way, too. I want to be educated. We're gonna educate the audience about solar. So, Joe, I respect your time, man. I'm at 12:03 a.m. on my end of the atmosphere. And where if you had to send someone to one place to find you, to contact you, where would you send that person?
So everything Joe on the web is at thegeniuslinks.com. So
So the
thegeniuslinks.com, you'll find a calendar. You want to get on my calendar and talk for
I'm
15 minutes. You
about to
want to
pull that
check
up.
out the merch I have in my stores. You want to check out, hey, Joe, I want to be part of the sales training group War Games. There's a link there. You want free stuff? Go all the way to the bottom, all the way at the bottom. And then the same color as the font, it says secret stuff. Click on
Gotcha.
secret stuff, go in, it'll show you the back page on my website, and you'll get a whole bunch of free stuff, ebooks, things like that.
Hold up. Let's do this. I'm gonna do something even better. Watch this. So we're gonna pull it up here. All right. Can you see this, Joe?
I can. Whoop,
Perfect.
whoop.
Perfect.
There it
There you
is.
go. Ingram Interactive. You got all your links right here. You got your video here.
So that's all
Center
merch.
can
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Merch.
All that's merchandise. So it says Genius Merch and puts it up there. Let's connect. You drop that in, it'll send me an email. We can go back. If you're in automotive, you can watch the video there, which is Meet Me. So it'll explain to it. You want free automotive email templates? You click that one. You want to join War Games Automotive? You can click on that one. The web-based sales training, that's our War Games group. It's live weekly, Wednesdays at 2:00. It's a group training. You can do that. You want to become an author, right? 10-day author course is there. You want to
That's
go,
awesome.
what books does Joe have? You can go to Joe's author page. It'll show you all the books I have available on there. So
You got Ink Games.
Ink Games is a software program. You want to message me? There's all the messenger programs you can find.
Wow. So you
You
have
say, yeah,
everything here.
yeah. Again, I'm going to make it easy for you wherever you are. Social media, there's all the links to social
This
media
one
and
needs to
people
go
that
at the top right here, Joe.
yes, I know, I know. I could easily log in and move that right up. Yeah.
That's
And
powerful.
so,
But
but my podcast, everything is there on that page. That's all there is. But
wow.
and we're
That's
back. Hi.
and we're back. So the geniuslinks.com, if anybody out there wants to get in contact with Joe Ingram, one of the most
This is what I want to say too, Robbie. Sorry to interrupt,
no,
but
go ahead.
if you go there, go watch some free training. Decide if I'm right for you to reach out and talk to me.
I love that.
I didn't make it hard to get in contact with me. I just say do some investigation in the beginning, right? Go watch something and go, okay, I can learn from this guy. If it resonated here for you, go for it, right? And then go from that. If we need, yeah, no, you can just go over to my Instagram story or the Facebook story. You'll see Joe's got some stuff up there. But yes, look at that. So let me move this over here. There it is, Tom. That's how I end everything.
Exit
Right?
rich.
Go sell something down at the bottom.
Oh, go sell
Yes.
something.
Yes.
I
That's it.
love
That's
that.
me. Yes. So every time we end war games, I say, now go sell something. Because really, that's what it's all about. This one
What's
says
the
never
other
be
one say?
normal. The other one
Never
says
be
never be
normal.
normal. So never
Gotcha.
be normal because normal people get normal paychecks.
They damn sure do.
And so you don't want to ever do that.
Man, Joe, I appreciate you for stopping by the podcast, man. I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I would like to let you know that since you're ranking for my name on SEO, I'm going to start ranking for your name on SEO.
Oh, I know. And you know how to do it. Mine was all accidental. But yeah, Robbie pulled that
Nah,
up the other day. He goes, I'm going to go look myself up. And it was him on my podcast that was there. He was like, well, wait a second. But
that's
I
powerful. But
appreciate you and the value you bring as a person and your willingness to
thank
put
you.
it out there.
I
Right. I will tell
appreciate
you,
it.
and you can ask anybody in the mastermind group, the Thursday mastermind group that we do, right? Your group. It is by far the most beneficial mastermind I've ever been a part of
Thank
because
you. I
we walk
appreciate it.
away with something tangible to go through. It's what I try to do with war games every week. Every week I do war games because why? I want somebody to go out and be able to sell one more item today.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
Mm-hmm.
does. With you, you're helping us to build a brand, you're helping us to build merchandise stores, you have made such an impact on my life I couldn't begin to explain.
I
Right?
appreciate it. You've made an impact on my life. Kate Troyer and I were bragging about you on our podcast on Friday. So if you want to get a kick out of that, we
Yeah, I'm
were
gonna go back and
definitely,
listen. That
yeah.
was one of those things, right? My buddy Sam Bakhtiar, rest in peace. He did a podcast where he had Brad Lee on,
Mm,
and so Brad Lee came on, but Sam said, Brad goes, "I think I'm the best salesperson in the world," and Sam goes, "Yeah, I'd put you up against my boy Joe Ingram, though."
wow.
And then Brad pretended he didn't know who I was. I'm like,
Wow.
"Ooh, what you do?" He goes, "Oh, the guy with the beard thing," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I have him teach my class from time to time," and blah blah blah. But again, I'm like, okay, let's go head to head.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm not here to
Thank you.
compete with
Thank you, Lynn.
anybody else. I'm here to make
Same.
everybody. I'm going to make anybody better that wants to be better. Right?
That's
I
it.
invest in myself. You can tell by all the books. You can see, like one of my favorites is Viz Gnostics over there. My friend is Kimberly Slavic, and she tells you how the brain hates questions. And so, can you put out a vision for somebody and then let them tell you that they don't have that? That way, they sold
Mm.
themselves. She's got a great story. It's
Send
fantastic.
me
You should
that.
probably have her on there. Yeah.
Send me the link to that book. I would love to get that. It's
Yeah.
called Visgnostics.
Visgnostics. So visual
Visgnostics.
diagnostics put together.
I
It's her
love
little
that.
trademark word, but it's brilliant in what it does. But I'll tell you because I know we're trying to jump off here. So I heard her on a podcast. I heard it. I was like, ooh, I like what she's saying. So there went the like and the listen. I listened more, liked her more. Then I believed her. So I went online and I ordered her book and had it shipped. Her
Mm.
book came in and I read the book from cover to cover. In the
Mm.
book, there's a little example in here that says, fill out this puzzle based on what you've learned and then email me at, and it's her email address. So I'm sitting on my back patio. I finish it, right? I got my cigar and my iced tea, and I'm finish it. And I'm like, oh, boom, pull out my phone and I email her. This is the answer I got to this thing. She answered back within 15 minutes. She said, I've sold over 100,000 books, and less than 50 people have ever sent me the answer. So then I said, great. Now I've got communication. I was like, bink, bink. We went back and forth. We're friends today because
That's
I chose
powerful. That's
to
powerful.
create that relationship after I got the results.
So I like the way you choose. You are the master, in my opinion, of choosing people. You don't let people just choose you.
No,
It
no.
seems as if you make up your mind. I want to build a relationship with that person, and you go and choose them. I love that.
Yes, it's true. Tom, you don't have to take anything out on Brad. It's okay.
But
And
yeah,
what was
that's
funny is that I found out he dissed me like 6 months prior when I connected the two of them to do the podcast. So,
wow.
but I didn't know it till somebody goes, "Hey, did you know your friend with the glasses was talking to Brad about you?" And I'm like, "Nope." So,
Man, I truly appreciate you. You add so much value to my life as well, and I'm happy to know you, Joe. So thank you so much. And
Pleasure is mine.
anybody out there that would love to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me, robbiecornelius.com. And until next time, guys, make sure that you master yourself and master the web.
And go
good. I think good. I feel good. I feel good. I live good. I live good. I live good. My mind is powerful. My mind is powerful. My mind is powerful. I feel so good. My mind